Hello, everyone, and happy Mother's Day, especially to my Black mamas out there. Today, we're going to be talking to a few Black mamas and celebrating all things Black motherhood. Being a Black mother in America can be rough, like statistically rough. I'm talking 3 times more likely to not make it through childbirth than a white mother. But here's the thing, Black mamas are built different. They're fierce, they're strong, and they love harder than anyone else. They fight for their health and for their babies. So for Mother's Day, we're going to chat with some incredible Black mothers about their journey through motherhood and maternity health. Meet Myesha Kromah. Once a Make-A-Wish child who beat a rare form of cancer, Myesha grew up to again defy the odds when it came to motherhood. So we're going to talk about your motherhood journey.
Okay.
But first, I want to talk about, you shared with me that as a child, you had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. I was between the age of 6 and 7 years old when I was diagnosed with a Wilms tumor. Mm-hmm. It was a rare cancer at that time. I went through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was not supposed to live. The reason why I did go through the Make-A-Wish Foundation was because they thought I was dying from cancer. It was all over the news. Myesha Muhammad is dying from cancer. And so I was one of the first to really go through the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And when I went through that, then I ended up surviving.
So what was the Make-A-Wish Foundation for some of us who might not know?
The Make-A-Wish Foundation is basically like your last wish before you die, pretty much. And you get to wish for anything. Crazy story was I told my mom that I wanted to see Brandy. I wanted to meet Brandy at that time. She was like, why would you want to meet a celebrity? Like, what is that to remember? So I'm from Fresno. I ended up going to the Chaffee Zoo. That was my wish, to go to the zoo. They took me on a shopping spree. So I was like the only one in the neighborhood, had a new bike and TV, my own TV. So I went shopping in a limousine at that too. And they kept up with me over the years as well. They would always send mail to my grandma's. I don't know why, but they would always send me mail to my grandma's house. Maybe because we moved from Fresno. Mm-hmm. But they would send her mail all the time and try to get us in the hot air balloon. My mom was not like getting us in the air balloon. She was like, listen, I got my limitations. So but I went and saw Christy Yamaguchi. She's a ice skater. Oh. I got to see her. So yeah, that's the Make-A-Wish Foundation. They're still around. So which is a good thing.
Yeah, I used to see the commercials when I was little. I'm like, whatever happened to like some of the kids?
Yeah, I know.
And you are one of those children.
Yeah, it was crazy. I went through Dutch Brothers line the other day, a couple months ago. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. And they were having a thing for Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I was like, I'm an actual Make-A-Wish participant, and it was like, oh my gosh. So they all got out, my drink was for free, and they took pictures with me and stuff. It was really nice, but it was nice to see that like somebody overcame that, because like the Make-A-Wish is for people that's dying. And so even the time when I was in the hospital, the doctors always say like, she don't act sick or anything like that, but you can only see the sickness only because I lost all my hair. I was so small. I had to spend time in hospital, so I had to stop going to school. And back to your question, what kind of cancer it was? It was a rare cancer, like I said. It was a Wilms tumor. So my left kidney, I only live with one kidney today. Okay. Yes, but yeah, my doctors didn't want me to play sports. I wasn't supposed to live after 18 years old. I wasn't supposed to have a menstrual period or anything, and wasn't supposed to have kids.
Great segue. You wasn't supposed to have kids.
No.
Can we talk about your motherhood journey a little bit? Because I know you also shared with me that it took a while for you to actually have your first child, because you had, 2 miscarriages before?
So our first child was like a test run, kind of. So we had a little girl at first. She was 21 weeks when we had her. She didn't live because her lungs wasn't strong enough to live. However, we didn't take it like a bad thing like that. We were just grateful to God that you can get pregnant, because that was our first pregnancy. And we weren't like really, we didn't really know really at that time. And so after that pregnancy, the doctor advised that I like get on a birth control so I wouldn't like get pregnant back right away. They also needed to see what exactly was wrong with me, what happened to the baby. I was before I had her, we was actually in the hospital for like a week. So I spent Mother's Day. That's when I had her on Mother's Day, May 11th. Oh. Crazy, right? So I had her on Mother's Day, May 11th, 2009. She didn't live. But I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So they had me in the hospital for a whole week. And that was the first time I ever heard of this. They was trying to keep the baby in. So I was like in this position called Trendelenburg. And that's kind of like an upside down position, trying to keep the baby down before coming out. So I never really revisited that. The reason why, like, I didn't know another way to keep the baby in, or instead of having me in that position or anything like that. But so many things was happening to me when I was upside down. Like, I'm a mild asthmatic, so asthma began to flare up. It was just too much, and so they had to have an emergency delivery. Okay. So that was my only child that I had vaginally.
So your first child passed away, and then after that you had 2 miscarriages, and then you had a 4th pregnancy. That was your son.
Yes.
And he lived.
Yes.
How old is he now?
He is 9 years old now. He just turned 9 in February. And he was early. He came early at 33 weeks.
Were you nervous when he came early?
I wasn't. That's probably a lie. It was a little bit nervous, but my daughter, I was not nervous with her. Okay. But our son, I was probably a little bit, because you have to go through, like, everything's moving fast. Like, I was in the hospital once again. So the reason why my children are coming early, I'm high risk, is because I have a short cervix. So when they realize that, like, this is not going to happen again when you get pregnant, we're going to make sure we sew you up, give you steroids, whatever it is that we need to do to keep that baby, we're going to do it. And so I come from the healthcare field. And so I was able to keep working as I got sewed up to keep my son in. And then something just happened where they called it dip. His heart kept dipping or whatever. Playing possum. That's what I be calling it. Playing possum. Yes. So I ended up in the hospital, and we were there for like maybe a couple of weeks or so. They was going to keep me in there the rest of the pregnancy. So imagine that. That was going to be until I was like 40 weeks. Wow. Yeah. So that was going to be like 7 more weeks, because I was at 32 and he came on the 33rd week. Wow. Yes. And so everything's moving so fast. So they're like, got to hurry up. But it was the beautiful, most nicest pregnancy
that's good
ever. These people, when I say they catered to me, they asked me, like, what music do you want to listen to? Because I have to have an emergency C-section. Yeah. And so I was just like, that's crazy. I don't know. I've never heard of this before, but we listen to K-Love a lot of times, or, like Christian music and things like that. And so when I told him that, this man played us some gospel music the whole way. They was like pulling the baby out, everything. So it was just nice. It was really nice. So, and us being new parents, we was in there like, worried, obviously. And then they said, why you guys worried? We know he's gonna live. So I was like, wow. So that was like reassuring to us, which made the next pregnancy so much more easier. Like, she's good. And then another nurse had told me again with her too, like, she's gonna live. She's a girl. Like, girls are faster than boys are. And so just like, wow, well, thank you, Lord.
What happened with your daughter then? Because you just said they told you she's going to live the same thing. Yeah. So, like, what happened with her?
So my pregnancy was going fine. I don't know what happened. Only thing I could think of, my husband's grandmother passed away during that time. Okay. She went to Liberia, and then she didn't make it back home. Okay. She died on the day she was coming back home. Okay. And when we got that call, my husband ended up having to go to Liberia, because we used to help take care of her here. And so we was not going to let them bury her without him being there too, right? Yeah. So he went there to go bury her for the funeral and everything like that. And so when that had happened, he left. I'm guessing that's the reason why. I sent my body into a stress. I was like totally fine and things like that. Like, everything was good. But when he left, it was like where did he spend time? He went to New York first and then went to Liberia. So that week he went to Liberia. It was all good. I think before he left, the day he left, I went to the hospital. He had a scare. Everything was fine. And so then once he got from New York, we couldn't talk to him. And by the time he got to Liberia, I was in the hospital already. And they were like, my blood pressure had went up high and stuff. So they were going to keep me. So my mom was there, and I didn't want to stay because I'm a first-time mom still. I got my son, he's only 2. Yeah. And so I'm like, who's going to take care of him? Those are the things that's running across my mind. And I love being a mommy, so I'm really hands-on with our children. Yeah. So I'm like, like, bring him up here, or can he stay with me? But another situation happened where, like, I think my blood pressure was getting too high. And so they said we have to do an emergency C-section. And so I was fine.
How many weeks were you at that time?
I was 32 weeks. I like to say that she came at 33 weeks too, because it was like 32 and 6 days or something like that.
Okay.
So I'm like, she was pretty much 33 weeks as well,
Okay.
7 weeks away.
Okay.
And so my mom came in there. She's like, Myesha, like, why aren't you crying? Like, what? How are you so calm right now? I'm just like, Mom, what they gonna do? Keep the baby in or what? And we can't do that. She got to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called my sister, OJ. She came in. She was there, and my sister Rashidi as well. They were both there. And so OJ was like asking, can you just wait? Because the dad's birthday is tomorrow. Can she wait for tomorrow?
Oh,
It was already his birthday in Liberia already.
Yeah.
It was the 15th, June 15th, but it was the 14th here.
yeah.
And she was like, the dad's birthday, can you just wait till 12 o'clock? And the doctor was looking like, no. No, we cannot do that. And so, yeah, my brother was there with me. Okay. So he was the one who went in the operating room and he was able to get pictures and stuff for me. I have no pictures for my son because my husband's like, I'm not looking at that. Like the blood was too much. Like he was very much so like, but no, so my brother was there by my side the whole time. Yeah, when I had her. And I was really like on pain medication and stuff, so I wasn't able to see her right away. So he went down there. They take him down like under the hospital and stuff. So he was the one that was with her the whole time, which was nice. And my mom, my aunties had came from Fresno to come and help take care of me because my husband was still gone still. And so with my son, I'm taking care of him. I'm going to the park. I just had like a C-section, trying to take him to the park, trying to make sure he's not missing out because daddy not here. So I'm trying to, like, I don't know, like you instantly go into this mommy mode or what kind of mode that is, super mom mode.
Yeah. And
so I was still just trying to keep him like, you know, like, so he's not missing out because first of all, when I first got pregnant with the little girl, my husband was hecka happy. And my son, they're jumping up and down like it's going to be a girl. Like they knew it was going to be a girl before I did.
How they know?
I don't know. I do not know. So he was like, we're going to get a girl. It's a girl. And all this stuff or whatever. So when in my heart, I was just like, how do you love another baby the way you love this first child like that? Mm-hmm. And so I never understood it even like with people that have multiple children. Like it hurted my heart. Like I felt like crying. And I did cry because I'm just like, I don't know how to love this other little baby. Like how do you spread that love? I love my son so much. So that's what I was feeling when she came. I was just like, I don't want to neglect him or he feel like I'm giving more love to this baby, not paying him no attention or anything like that. And so I was just making sure I like kept taking him like to the park. And so my mom was like, Myesha, you gotta like slow down.
You just had a baby.
Let us help you. Yeah.
You just had a baby.
Girl, I think I was on like Norcos or something like that. And I don't really take medication.
You was on drugs.
And drove to the hospital to go see this baby falling asleep.
Oh no.
I had to pull up to the side of the road. My mom had to come and pick me up. And so when she picked me up, she drove me to the hospital. Her and my auntie, mind you, my auntie is on the cane, and that's one of my great aunties. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's they came to help me, and I was at the hospital, and the nurse was like basically telling me the same thing, like you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
You need to let us like take us as professional babysitters right now and use us for what you need to use us for.
Yeah.
Go
you can't be a
rest.
strong Black woman all the time.
Yeah, seriously. And so when she told me that, I kind of like, I was rest assured.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went home and I got that rest that I needed to and get my house together too, because mind you, she came really early. My husband, we were supposed to be getting this stuff together, getting her little area put together and stuff like that. And so none of that stuff was ready. Did we have a baby shower? We had a baby shower. I had a baby shower after I had her. So we didn't have the baby shower yet. So I'm just like, she was really early. Yeah.
Yeah. You spent a lot of your time in the hospital, even as a kid. What would you say your experience has been like with doctors, and especially as a Black woman, a Black girl, right? What has that experience been like?
My experience, I think the hospital kind of spoiled me a lot of times. My experiences every time I was in the hospital has always been great. From me being a child in the hospital, I really got spoiled as a child. And I'll tell you a story. When I had cancer, I couldn't talk. It was a period of time where I couldn't talk. And my mom used to wear her hair in a beautiful bun. She had a lot of hair. She would wear it in a pretty bun, and I'm trying to tell her something, and I pulled her by her hair like to come down. She was like, girl, she whispered to me, if you ever, I don't care who and what is around you, I will tear you up in this bed. Just like that. And you better know it. I didn't do it again.
Cancer or not.
Cancer or not. She told me something about myself. She's like, don't get beside yourself, because I was getting so spoiled. So that's what she felt like. Maybe that I was getting too spoiled or something in there. I mean, the school would bring me gifts, everything. And so I was kind of going to school in the hospital at Valley Children's Hospital. I had the best doctors there. It was a children's hospital. Okay. And so fast forward, me being an adult, same care. Then I had my husband. My hospital experience has always been great, but it's crazy you said that as a Black woman. I had a Black doctor.
Really?
Mhm.
When did you have a black doctor?
Let me tell you about this black doctor. though.
Okay.
I hate to put my sister down, but she was one that took care of me during my pregnancies. And I remember going in because I was like spotting or bleeding or something. And her first thing was like, "Oh my gosh, I hope it's not like one of those again." I was like, "Oh, well, great." Like a miscarriage. And so I was just like, well, there's my encouragement, you know? And so I did let them know about that. And I was like, yeah, I didn't like that at all. And I did switch my doctor on her. And I had another lady who was actually my doctor, because she was my like doctor I go see, but you have a doctor when you're going to deliver. And that's actually following you because they put a cerclage in, which is when they sew you up. And so she was my doctor, and she was the one who followed me wherever she was on. Out of town, she made sure I had the right doctors when I had the baby. She was never there she was there for my first pregnancy, but for the little girl, she was not there, but she made sure I had the best doctors and the best experience ever. And as soon as she got back, she came to that hospital. So, but it's been like, I know a lot of Black people say, they get treated like this and like that, but I had the best experiences, and I was with Kaiser.
So what? You being high risk in many of your pregnancy and just like in life in general, a lot of your life you were high risk. What advice would you give to another mother or someone who is currently high risk and want to have children?
I would say if you want those children, you still have to go ahead and take that chance. Trust that God is going to carry you through, because a lot of times I could have been feeling the same way. Like, I'm not going to have children no more because I'm high risk, or, it's too much on me here and there. Things like that. You have a lot to complain about, but when those children come, it's a whole different story like that. And I'm blessed to say that my children, they were blessed. No problems or things like that. And their doctors followed them closely. If it was physical therapy that they needed or anything like that, there was no issues. And my son, he used to always carry his neck like this, like he was taking a photo, but he got physical therapy for that. And like, that was it. It was no other issues. And that was nothing by the grace of God, nothing but the grace of God, because we prayed for these children. We prayed during the pregnancy. And that was one thing the nurses will always say. That's probably why I had a good experience in the hospital too, is because you would hear them get passing on to the next shift. You don't have to worry about her because her husband is in there. He does everything for her, whether going to the bathroom, whatever it is, because I was like bedridden for a minute too. So going to the restroom, shout out to my husband. Like, he was doing a doggone thing. He was my doctor in the hospital. So they will always say, like, you don't have to worry about her. Her husband ain't gonna let you like come in there and do anything anyways. He's gonna make sure he's helped. So he was a good asset to the nurses. Yeah. But I would, just tell them to do it. But if you can, one thing about like Black women I learned when I was telling you I was in the Black infant health is that Black women always have hard pregnancies because we're not afforded that opportunity to be able to take off of work and not work or anything like that. I fought for that stuff. If I'm taking off, I'm high risk. I got to take care of myself, take care of my baby. So I did go off of work. I used to be a traveling phlebotomist, and my employers did not like that. But I was like, it's me or you, and it ain't gonna be me this time, because also, having being pregnant, it's life threatening to you too.
I know you and your husband have a business, so why did you guys create that business?
That's good. We started our business because at that time we were having children, obviously first time parents. So, you kind of want to do things differently than your parents did. So for us, we were looking at like daycare. We wanted to do daycare, but our kids were babies. So it's like, we can't let them go to daycare. They can't speak up for themselves. And that's a lot of time. That was around the time when people were stealing kids and doing things to kids in daycares and things like that. And I was like, heck no, not my kids. Not
my babies.
So me and my husband we were always like writing a plan. Making a vision for what it looked like. We know we weren't going to always be employers all the time. So we ended up starting this business, and it helped us with the flexibility to be able to be there. Like I said, we're hands-on. Both of us are actually hands-on with our children. And so being there at the school for whatever it is that they need, if they got little plays or something that they're playing in, or if they're a part of anything, their field trips and stuff like that. So we like to be there helping out with the school and things like that. So
so you started a business because you wanted to keep your family together.
Yes. And we want that flexibility. So and then plus when we were working, I'm just like, dang, that's like one of my checks. Daycare. And then the daycare we was looking at, they had the nerves to give me like a resident discount because I was a resident in the neighborhood. And so that was like only like $100 or something like that. That really didn't make a difference. So I'm like,
that's a discount.
Me working to go and pay for daycare, it just don't make sense. And that's just really expensive. And so we decided to just go ahead and just like, well, let's start now.
Well, go ahead, shout out your business.
We are your local cleaners with Gifted Hands Cleaning Services, located in Sacramento, California.
Okay. Yes. So if you need some cleaning services, you know where to go.
We are commercial cleaning, by the way, too. Okay. Take care of the floors and all that great stuff.
Okay. Well, perfect. That's a blessing. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
No. Big ups to all the moms. Shout out to all of them that hold it down. I really wear the mother hat like a badge of honor for sure. I really love being a mom. I love my children. My husband, I've been blessed to have a great husband. And so we work as a team very well. Yeah. So shout out to all the Black mothers out there doing their thing on a daily basis. When I say we wear many hats, from work, wifing, mothering. I saw a meme the other day saying, of course I'm a Black mom. I do this. Of course I'm a Black mom. I'm the lawyer. Of course I'm a Black mom. I'm the doctor. Like that. And sometimes when I am taking care of my children, they're like, Mom, are you like a doctor or something? I'm like, girl, yeah.
I am the doctor.
I'm a doctor. Yeah, so no, shout out to all you guys. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you so much.